every time I watch a video where the reviewer's got a band-aid on, it just ekes me through the whole video. What's the band-aid for? Tell me. What is it there for? Bothers the hell out of me. Well, I'm gonna tell you later. So there's a lot of bumblebees in front of you, but don't get scared. Just wait a second. There's a reason for all these bumblebees. Don't go anywhere. The reason that there's all these bumblebees and some other figures that were originally bumblebee molds is because a few months ago I was trying to complete my movie collection and I just couldn't scale up these guys. I couldn't tell who I really wanted to be my scale display item. I know that a lot of people collect figures for their transformation, for how they look at the end of the day, but I do kind of like to have the scale right. So I'm going to take a look at all the deluxe Bumblebee molds that I have, and maybe this is going to help a few people, probably not many. I have a bunch of Optimi in the back there. The Optimi are again to kind of understand the scale. This Bumblebee is a fantastic one. You could call him classics. He's something you've got to have. He's tiny fella. The pros with this guy is he looks great. Transformation is fun and quick. His accessory is bogus. It turns into a jet ski jetpack. Let's get rid of that before I regret doing this video. The cons to this guy is that, engineering has improved. You could easily not have panels on arms and panels on shins nowadays. So that's the big difference with this guy. Let's get rid of him. I will mention before I keep going that these guys are going to go from short to tall, just so you know. Here's RID mold Bumblebee from the Transformers Prime series. The reason I got him is because of the sword that's in his hand. I am going to paint this sucker with some black. I just got him recently. But basically, I'm going to put some black on him so he looks like the Bumblebee who killed Megatron at the end of Prime. Spoilers, I guess I should have said that. So that's the main reason I got this guy. Pros to this guy, there's not a lot. I don't know how much I could say that's good about him, aside from the fact that aesthetically he's okay. He doesn't look much different than the first edition, which you'll see in a bit. I like the head mold, but again, it was more of a custom. The cons to this guy, this chest transformation with the whole kind of automorphing, ratcheting thing, I just don't enjoy it. You have to know a little trick to do it. I don't think that's cool for kids. Let's get rid of him. RD Bumble Bot. I actually really like RID Bumble Bot. I know some people really went hard on the repro labels for him. I don't mind the paint scheme here whatsoever. I think he's cool. He's quick to transform. The sticker bothers me. The pros to him is simply the quick transformation and the look. The cons to him is he doesn't have a heel spur. Now, I haven't had a trouble standing this fellow, but I could see how some would. If he isn't totally centered in some poses, he will fall down. So that's already Bumblebee. Then here is High Octane Bumblebot. I love this guy. Pros to this guy is the look overall. I have to say on a side note though, this is the Takara version. In vehicle mode, he is no different than the Bumblebee that you would get in North America. But in robot mode, you got the extra paint apps, heads, arms, legs. I'm all in. Cons to this guy, his arms seem a little short. they don't look as short because his knees are way up high. So that's a little catch 22 with this guy. he's got the he's got an unusual he's unusually sized, but he looks great. He's one of my favorites for sure. And then you have Nightbeat. Nightbeat was originally a Bumblebee mold. He was based off the IDW. This, there's nothing, I guarantee you, nothing good about this mold. Do not get this. If you can avoid this at all, just avoid it. I regret buying this mold. It's not a lot of fun. The transformation isn't good. He's pretty hollow. He's got bits that end up hanging between his crotch. That's great. Isn't it great? This just doesn't stay tabbed. The only thing I could say is if if you didn't have a gold bug whatsoever, and you could get the gold fire, which is a gold bug version of this, I think that would be okay. But I think the Bumblebee and other repaints other than the gold fire, I don't think is worth it. He has his gun does split into two if you need two versions of this ugly thing. So yeah, let's get rid of him. We have the Age of Extinction Bumblebee. This is the second version. I think the bonuses with this guy is kind of a fun transformation, and he has gimmicks. He has the face mask gimmick, which is cool. He has the cannon arm gimmick, which is cool. So I think that's cool. I think the playability is this guy's biggest bonus. This, I will say, again, this is the United version of Bumblebee. So he came in that Autobots United 5-pack. So he probably has some more paint apps than the one you would get off the shelf. And other than that, I mean, I think his size is right. So he's not a bad bot, but for some reason I just don't like him that much. That's probably a personal thing. I may be getting rid of him, but I'll probably wait until the second movie to see if the next version of Bumblebee's any better. So let's get rid of him. Oh, cons. Man, those... I forgot to say cons about this guy. These stupid weapons. Ugh. Just leave them out. Just leave them out. Next, Bumble Bot. This is probably my favorite Bumble Bot. He is the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. This is a time, unfortunately though, where the bots got a little smaller to pay for these things. He has Mechtech Weapon. Not the worst Mechtech Weapon, but I love his articulation. He has swivels everywhere. His thumb even moves. The minor quibble I have with him is he's a little too small for my scale itch, if you will. I itch to match up with scale, and he's just a little too short, but he's so fun to transform. Another con with him is the backpack's not too tidy. You can mess around with it and whatever, but it never looks great. So that's my quibble with the Dark of the Moon Bee. Otherwise, I totally recommend picking this guy up. He's fun to transform, and if you could get past the fact that he has no windows and he has this mesh instead, kind of like the Wreckers, then you're going to be happy with this guy. Let's get rid of that Bumblebot. First edition Transformers Prime B. He's better than RIDB. I don't know what else to say about him. I guess transformation wise he's cool. These things are annoying, so that's my con. But he cleans up really well. That's the pros of this guy. He cleans up really well, except for these big boots. So it's unfortunate that, and it came at the wrong time, but Transformers Prime Bumblebee, it's hard to really compliment or diss them. It's just kind of an indifference for most people. You just kind of just like, okay, yeah, I get Bumblebee. Oh, here's my pro. Look at, he's got good light piping. Yeah. So let's get rid of him. Now this mold would technically be the first concept Camaro mold of Bumblebee. He is a knockoff though, but he is in the exact same size. The worst thing about him is all the kibble, all these panels and things banging into each other, and you honestly, when you're using this guy, you feel like you can't move him where you want to, and when you do, you bang into things. He's not much fun. So in the Bumblebee form, also he had a really nasty head sculpt. So I wouldn't recommend him in the Bumblebee form. Again, I have this just to fill my G1 representing movie bots of Cliffjumper. So not a huge recommendation, but not the worst bot in the lot here. This is easily one of my prized bots. This is Alternity Cliffjumper, who was originally Alternity Bumblebee, who's very much the same, just with a different head sculpt. Now, with the yellow, this belly thing did look a little big, but for how complex the transformation, a lot of the transformations I enjoy are more complex. I enjoy the puzzle of these bots. So if you enjoy a bit of puzzle, this is absolutely something you have to go get either in the Cliffjumper or Bumblebee form. Please go get one of them. He honestly scales in great as a masterpiece as well. Obviously, he doesn't have the alt mode of the old series, so you may want your masterpiece anyways, but that's fine. This is still a fantastic bot. It's nice and weighty. It's got die cast. Oh, gosh, all day about this bot. Now let's get to the tall boys. We're on the last row here. You have the original movie Bumblebee. Look at that face. Only a mother could love that face. That's disgusting. What can I say good about this bot in this mode? Absolutely nothing. This bot, like, nothing. His feet. Is he worse than Nightbeat? No, because he weighs a bit more and all the joints are a bit tighter. The transformation's a bit tighter. I know some people broke this, but is he worse than Nightbeat? No. Even though I can't get this stupid thing to pop back out, he's not worse than Nightbeat. That face is ugly. I will say that another pro to this is that ball joint under his head is actually the exact same size as Dark of the Moon Bee. So if you wanted to update his face to look a little more movie accurate, you could simply grab a knockoff bee or whatever online at eBay and pop this sucker off and stick that Dark of the Moon Bee face on there, and you'd be all set to go. He's all for the alt mode. Absolutely. You'll get to see that in a bit. Here is the Takara animated bee. I don't know what to say. There's just so much character in this. The color is fantastic to me. That's why I bought the Takara. They kind of give it this gold paint instead of the straight up yellow. I know that some people who have the North American version complain that the painted parts, the painted yellow didn't match the yellow on the bot. And just to skip over that, I grabbed this guy. Animated, to me, was really fun. His transformation ain't great. There's ball joints that pop off. That's the big negative with this guy is you're going to pop off panels and feet and stuff your first couple times transforming him. But for all the character you're getting in this bot, you just can't lose. If you don't have a bee in any animated form. Honestly, the elite, what was it? The Elite Guard Bee, the North American, the Takara, any one of those, go get them. I will point out on a quick side note that there is an alternator bee out there. If you don't have some of the other figures and you're just gonna have a bee standing beside Bulkhead, this does work for size, because the first Voyager Bulkhead was really small. If you have the second Bulkhead, this Bumblebee works just fine. As you can see with Optimus, keep in mind that Optimus from that animated series was not that big, so that totally works. It was like a young Optimus. So, great figure though. Grab one in any form that you can. Here's a fun one, but pretty much a nightmare to transform. This was originally a Cybertronian fall of Cybertron, sorry, Bumblebee. This again is a Takara version, so you'll notice the metallic paint and everything. Let me get them in focus. I really love the aesthetics of this bot in both modes, but I would say that I don't really enjoy transforming him. It feels like you're kind of doing too much squishing and pushing, and it feels like you're going to break a tab off. So it's not that great in that way, but I mean, come on, like, it just looks awesome. It looks so awesome in either mode. Um, the definite pros with this guy is his looks all the way, and the cons is getting him to those looks. Let's get rid of them. Here is my first bee. This is Canon Bumblebee. He came out Revenge of the Fallen Days. Um, I think the biggest negative to this guy, because honestly, for size, he is perfect. He is perfect with any amalgamation of your bots around you for the movie scale. He is perfect, but he had the gorilla arms, and they seem a bit short. So you couldn't, no wrist swivel. So he's what got me going out and buying other bees to try to, scratch that itch. Other than that, the paint on this guy's fantastic. The transformation's not that much fun, but it's different. It's not like the original. Look at how that back cleans up. It almost looks like the movie with the lower wings and top wings. He's got the gimmicks. There's so many good things about this guy, but the arms just killed me. I don't know how to make them look good. Like, you turn them back. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this guy's arms, which is such a bad thing. I almost wish I could just rip them off and replace them with another arm. Maybe I should do that. Now I'm gonna try. So let's get rid of him. And you have what I think is gonna be the guy who sits on my shelf. The pros to this guy are the gimmicks for sure. He has the mask. He has a good face. He has the cannon arm if you need it, which I think is fantastic. You can also put that away and he still has a hand there. Really cool in so many ways. This guy is cool. He is too big. He's definitely too big if you're a scale nut like me. He has some skeletal factors. He's like, his neck seems skinny, the shoulders seem skinny. But overall, you're getting a pretty new transformation. You're getting gimmicks all around. You're getting a blade that you can hide away, even though the blade looks backwards. I think he's going to be my guy. The main thing with him is, if you're a scale nut, is you're going to have to put him in a posing stance that's a little lower with the rest of the guys, just so he doesn't look too tall, because he's definitely a tall fella. He's Revenge of the Fallen tall, which a lot of those bots were, and I really miss and love those days with the tall guys. But definitely, if you could get your hands on one of these, if you see one of these cheap on eBay, just grab it. Don't think twice. All right, so I'm gonna transform all of these guys. That's gonna be fun, isn't it? And I'll be right back, and I'll show you how they look in their alt mode. He was MISB. Was. But what kind of comparison video would this be if I showed you a couple Prime Bumblebees without a Prime Prime? This is the first edition Takara release, obviously the black one. I had to crack them open. I had no choice. Now, are you asking yourself, will I be showing RID 2015 Optimus? No, because they are absolute bullocks. They are garbage. They look terrible. I will not be buying one of those. No offense to anyone who has one. But, but I had to crack him open, so there he is. Now I'll finish the transformation. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you the alt modes compared to their series Optimus Prime. Again, just for scale. I don't have, like I said, anything that was Optimus Prime from the 2015 RAD series. So here is 2015 RAD Bumblebee compared to Marvel Legends Thing. And I believe I just sharded my shorts pose. I hope that works. Let's get rid of them. Then we have the animated stuff. Let me get the camera down. Make sure we don't miss any of this. It's super important. Yeah. This is where I could see another point where Bumblebee looks a little big. So the animated bee, he's cool in a way. He's not hateful. He's kind of fun. These activators really worked out. So keep those, in your window of something you might purchase. They're really not that bad. I think the worst part of the activators was the hands, but it's basically just what you get in Legends nowadays. So you can see those guys. Weapon storage here is these two rockets. So we'll get rid of them. Then when we talk about generations, you're not going to use your Deluxe Prime, and then there is the Voyager Prime. So hopefully you're like me and don't want the Voyager Prime. I really didn't enjoy him. I didn't like the panels on his arms and that ridiculous wind vane shield blaster. I just didn't like it. You can see though a lot of the deluxes actually, when you're talking about Bumblebee molds, and again, not Bumblebee, but all Bumblebee molds, a lot of them really work in scale if you're thinking that Bumblebee's supposed to be small. In scale with your MP stuff. So an MP10 is pretty cool if you want to use these guys as fillers until you get your MP20 or what was it, 21? It doesn't matter. Your MP Bumblebee. I did throw Goldbug on top there. That's the Impossible Toys Goldbug. Just to show you that, he's tiny. He's a tiny little fella. I'll go through a couple things that I really enjoy compared to these Mechtechs and stuff is the weapon storage. I love integrated weapon storage. His weapon is right there. His are right there. This is where they failed. His weapon storage or accessory storage is right here. Terrible. Again, so terrible. Let's get rid of that stupid thing. And then you have what we're doing pretty much since Dark of the Moon is just sticking some ports on the side of these guys. And you have ugly shit like that. Oh, kills me. Again, I don't hate this color scheme totally. I wanted to buy this because I wanted to do a head swap and a custom with him, but he's a stupid mushroom peg head, which is like impossible to find. Ugh. But yeah, don't buy this particular version. If you're gonna buy one of these, buy it in a Bumblebee form, please. Don't buy it in Nightbeat form because it just becomes useless. You can't turn it into hotshot. You can't do anything with this thing. So get rid of that. But you can see that the scales here, are, from what I could tell, are pretty much similar to your MP Bumblebees. So, go for it. These things are awesome. Obviously, this is War for Cybertron. With the War for Cybertron Optimus, even though he's big, he's not big enough to compare with this. It's definitely worth going bigger. So we'll get rid of these guys. Just pile them down over here. Oh, then we got the Prime guy, which, like I said, was MISB. So I have to thank the fact that YouTube exists, because man, he was fun to transform. But I'm not here to talk about Optimus. Get that mold, please, everybody, in some fashion. Get that. That was awesome. But there's your Prime guys all together. He's tiny, but neither completely disagreeable. Yeah, he looks a little big. Weapon storage. Weapon storage for this guy is so clean and crisp right under there. Love that. Don't really dig the whole peg and post situation you got with him and these things. Again, he's here for custom. Another reason that this is a little cooler, he's a little more challenging to transform. If you want a simple transformation, he's great, but he's the way to go. I have to admit, while I'm getting rid of these guys, I pretty much, took on a job transforming all these guys in one shot. I could have watched a whole season of Amy Schumer, Inside Amy Schumer. Oh man, this is a lot of work. I can't believe it. Let's do the movie bots. I got these 5 movie bots. These are pre-AOE, if that's a term I could coin. Pre-AOE bots. You could see, because of being deluxe, they're all quite relative. The smallest is by a slight amount your Dark of the Moon Bee. And again, like I said earlier, he does have, these mesh windows. He does have actual windows, but they can't fold out when you transform him into a car. That's a funny little thing. He's a cool bot, though. He's probably my favorite to mess with. He could use little paint bits, like that would be really easy for me to paint, and I might do that. And I'll probably disregard this Mechtech. And that's where the guys following I enjoy more, is that they have integrated weapons. So there's just a couple things knocking this back, but still really good bot. But I don't think as far as their alt mode that you're really concerned with their size. It's more so what they turn into that you'd be concerned with. So just rewind if you have any questions about that. This is the original concept Chimera mold, basically. Weapon storage right there. Here we have, this is the Battle Blades. So he's cool. Nice paint on him. He's a real nice bot all around. And again, his weapon storage was basically, gimmicks. So those are all integrated. Another great trick. And here's one of the first, right? His weapon storage also integrated. I love that. You saw that a lot in the Beast Wars days. And some people thought it was kind of like parts forming, but a tail that turns into a gun, I'm cool with that because it's integrated. I'm cool with that. It's better, really. Come on, parts forming or this? I'll take parts forming. Anyways, if you call it parts forming. And then you have my original bee, the Revenge of the Fallen bee. And again, he's a Canon bee, so, you know, the cannons are integrated. He doesn't have a blaster weapon. He just has this kind of thing. So without, right? Up to you. So let's get rid of these guys from the original 3 Transformers Prime movies. I knocked my light over there a bit. That's alright. And then we'll go AOE. Now this is where you have to make your decision. This AOE Prime I bought simply because I know that I can do a wicked custom to him. And that will be done shortly. He has the big backpack and everything, but because of the extra amount of shell forming, he is a huge alt mode. He is absolutely huge. So if you have any intention to display your bots in alt mode for the AOE bots, this isn't your guy. Now I'll say this too. The actual AOE leader class, this is the first edition, so the second one is probably better in bot mode too for size, but I didn't like the samurai panels, the whatever the heck those panels were. I didn't like that. So that's why I got this guy. So keep in mind that this guy's huge. These guys are tiny, like tiny. Absolutely tiny. Don't even come up to the top of his tires. So that's a little scaling for these guys. It might not help as much, but it'll at least help you know whether you want the first edition or not. That custom is coming soon. So that was my little look at a size comparison for all these guys. My buddy Brian asked for it. He got it. Hopefully this helped 4 or 5 people. I'm hoping. Most people will just skip right through this whole thing. So if you made it through this, thanks for watching. And find out what my Band-Aid's for. So if you waited this long to find out what the Band-Aid's for, this is why. This is going to probably be one of my next videos. I've got one that's going to go in between. But the reason I have this Band-Aid is from all the carving and stuff I did with these guys. Now, I haven't done much to, but this is going to be a weaponized road buster. And this is going to be a deluxe lead foot. Instead of spending $400 basically, I have customized the lead foot. Obviously, he's got no paint on him, but most of the sanding and cutting and all that stuff is done. And that's where I got this. I took a little bit of a blade into my finger, so be careful when you do your stuff. But soon you will have a customized lead foot and a weaponized road buster. Thanks for watching. See ya.